Oh man. All right. So trillions of dollars. We gave it to the people who lost trillions of dollars. Not lost. We gave it to the people who created the stuff that took our trillions of dollars and gave them more trillions of dollars to help fix the problem, but they didn't. Nothing was fixed. Um, Financial institutions still reign supreme with no accountability or regulation, which is why the Occupy Wall Street thing is popping off because people finally see that and they're just like, "Yo, what's up with this? One plus one does not equal three. Let's get this thing figured out and let's start holding people accountable." So now the streets are going to hold Wall Street accountable, which is what this whole movement is about. But I want to make it crystal clear that this financial crisis could not have happened without the government, in certain forces within the government, not forces, I don't want to say forces, certain networks within the government helping it along with the regulation. Um, and of course, the corporations were just doing what they do. They saw a loophole that they probably created, they abused it, and the point is that the regulators were supposed to come in and shut it down, when instead they came in and helped it happen. So I guess the point of what I'm trying to get at, and the reason I keep repeating it, is that take a serious, really sit with the fact that that's the country you're living in at the moment, or that's the country that you're a part of at the moment, that this actually happened, and what does that say about the state of our leadership, that this was allowed to happen? And there's still very little accountability. The streets are holding people accountable. A few key people will call some names here and there, but these systems are still going on unchecked. Okay. And I'll give you another proof positive reason. I promised. I didn't promise. I told myself I wasn't going to talk about the Fed, but I am going to talk about the Fed. How can I talk about the financial crisis and not talk about the Fed? The Fed is the beast. Okay, so quick rundown. The government borrows money from the Federal Reserve, which is not a government institution by any stretch of the imagination. The federal throws it off, but it's not a government institution. It is a private institution, a private bank, a private corporation for profit that is controlling this economy. And the government has to go to the Federal Reserve to get the money printed. Every dollar that's printed is printed in debt because the Federal Reserve is an entity outside the government. So everything that they print is debt because it's an entity outside the government. So it is lent back to the government at interest. So we're going to explore two real quick concepts. Is that one, legally, only government entities are supposed to be coining money, written in the Constitution, I believe. Only government is able to print money and use and control the currency. That's not something that's supposed to be outsourced. It's been outsourced. Okay, that's the first thing. So it's not even legal. It's stupid. In the first hand. Two, it's not even legal. Three, if the government were to start printing its own money, it could issue the money interest free. If there's one aspect I would suggest people really read up on and learn more about, it is this whole dynamic with the U.S. government and the Federal Reserve. It makes no sense. It makes no sense why we go to an outside entity to get our money, to run our country, when they give us the money at interest, when we could produce the money ourselves with no interest. What sense does that make? Really sit with that. Really sit with that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna stop right here and I'm gonna go to the next. I'm gonna, just so you can stop and really think about that. Why would our government go and outsource that ability to create money to somebody who's going to create money at interest that we have to pay back when we could do it for free? easily. And not only could we should be, because that's what it says in the Constitution. But even, I mean, I'm not even a big believer in them holding up the Constitution anyway, but it just doesn't even make sense on a business, from a business perspective. From a business perspective. Why would you, it's the difference between somebody, I'll give you $100,000 at 13% interest, or I'll give you $100,000 off the strength, and all you gotta do is pay back that 100,000. That's the difference. That's a simple choice. Why are we not making that? I'm gonna give you the answer. I'm not gonna. It's too late in the game to be playing around with it. There are networks within. There are networks operating within our government that want the U.S. economy to fail, and they are setting it up so that that will happen, and that is what is happening, and that is what has happened, and that is what will continue to happen. If you think you're seeing the end of this financial crisis, you think you can pump trillions of dollars into an economy and not see inflation? Do you know what's about to happen with this inflation around here? Not only that, we have not fixed the problem of manufacturing. We have not produced anything. We have not fixed the leak. And we just put more water into the bucket without fixing the leak. Which I will get into. But sit with that for a second. Sit with that. No, don't sit with nothing. Don't sit with nothing. We gonna keep it going. But really think about that. Because no. Because here's the proof on that. Okay? And actually, no. I'm gonna say this point. Sit with this point. I'm gonna come back in the next video and give you the evidence. And this evidence is rock solid. So sit with this point. This point being that this financial crisis that we're in, these hard economic times that the American people are facing, was deliberate. It was deliberate, and it was planned and executed by people in the financial sector. I'm generalizing it, but it's still accurate. People in the financial sector and elitists in the financial sector and people in our government, because they couldn't have did it without the government. They couldn't have done it without the government if the government was really doing their job. They couldn't have. They couldn't have pulled it off, and they did it, and they're doing it. And I'm gonna give you the evidence. Sit with that, and I'm gonna give you the evidence in the next video.